Welcome back, everyone, to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where Armut is facing off versus old rivals from the TCL, and we're going to look ahead towards this matchup versus StarScreen. Armut was, of course, an addition to this Mad Lion roster with his roots in Turkey. He is Turkish himself. He won 2 TCL titles, one with Supermassive, and one with, I lost it now, Royal Youth, of course, and it has been a great success in his coming to the LEC.
Yeah, we took Armut away last Worlds when he was representing Turkey. The Mad Lions are the ones who took him away after losing against him. Now he's defending us against the TCL, and Armut was such a staple player for Mad Lions alongside Elyoya to make this team so much stronger. They won the LEC split. I think Armut was a little bit quiet yesterday on the Lee Sin, but still a power pick for him against StarScreen, who was soaking a lot of pressure in that game. Yeah,
it's a particularly important matchup, of course, as he goes off versus the WildCats. Dagda, what do you think of this top lane matchup? As said, StarScreen was soaking up a lot of damage on that set. What can he do today in this top lane?
Yeah, I really want to see him try and take over against Armut. I want to know if he's able to actually go toe-to-toe against his Turkish rival here in that top side of the map. And especially when we look towards Elyoya, who likes to try and play through these strong lanes. If you're bringing out the fighters for Armut, like the Wukong, and he's getting really creative with these flanks, it needs to be StarScreen who's able to keep control of that top side and then lend that pressure to the team fight, where HolyPhoenix, who's doing the damage from the bot side, can take over.
Yeah, HolyPhoenix, 5 TCL titles. He was very, very strong yesterday on the Samira 4-0-0, but I think a big reason as to why Instable WildCats lost their game yesterday, was they were playing set Rumble Lee Sin. This doesn't scale very well. You're putting a lot of pressure on your AD carry. If he dies, you're going to falter in the later stages of the game. Maybe a little bit more scaling, although I really did like the draft for the early stages of the game. They weren't able to run away with it. And against Mad Lions, who had a very strong early game yesterday, and who also all about team fights, I think the playstyles kind of clash.
I hear that the teams are ready, so while Turkish fans might side with the WildCats this time around, we'll see who fortune decides to favor as we send it over to our casters.
Lovely.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the Caster Desk. We've got an exciting battle here as Mad Lions, the champions of the LEC for the first time ever, are up against an exciting opponent here, of course, as well. Formerly HWA Gaming, now Istanbul or fastPay WildCats, their first title here. And it's fun because Turkey is the second most represented country at this MSI behind Korea. I think that hasn't been true maybe ever before, but really exciting to see that, not only do we have a TCL champion that is all Turkish for the first time in a while, but even beyond that, they've been exporting talent now as well, as the LEC champions with Armut in the top lane also have a Turkish top lane. I find that very fun to see anything like that happen. So a battle of 2 first-timers, though. Again, so important to be top 2 in your group. Mad Lions look to be the strongest team in this one, but we'll see if they get challenged.
Yeah, I mean, Mad Lions were very dominant yesterday. They looked really good against who most people were actually expecting to be their biggest competition, the team from the PCS. So we'll see if they're going to be challenged here today by the WildCats, who, despite a pretty good start, they were in a fairly good position. It was looking like, after StarScreen was able to turn around a dive for a 1v2, that was kind of really the best it got for them. They did start to struggle into the later stages of the game against Pain Gaming and did eventually end up dropping that one. But I'm really excited to see the level that Mad will bring here in the second game, because as I said, they were so dominant yesterday. There was a lot of questions about how good would this team look. Of course, they were always favored to get out top of the table in their group, but if they can continue to really showcase a very dominant level, they have looked confident in the interviews I've seen. We saw their players talking yesterday after their win, believing that they could win the entire tournament, that they are in with a chance here, and I think that's really exciting for all the European fans.
Absolutely, and consider that this was 3/5 of the roster that, crashed and burned at Worlds last year, and I didn't want to see Mad Lions fail, but I'm like, look, they really choked last time around, are they going to hold up against competition? And so far, yes, so good. Sure, Armut is now in the top lane, Elyoya, a rookie in the jungle, right? That's always going to be a question mark going to a big international competition, but so far, so good. Mad Lions do look heads and shoulders above everyone else, especially when you look at teams like, Cloud9 last game, who still aren't performing to the level that you expected of them. So that's always, good to see that Mad Lions are playing well. So we'll see that one can continue. On the WildCats side, of course, they lost yesterday. Not going to be a good feeling, but if they can turn it around, so much the better.
That would be a huge win to take down Mad. Would set themselves up in a much better position in the group. It's also funny that, every time people are referencing Mad not having good performance at Worlds, I always remember that Armut was actually on the team that knocked them out, right? So now he has joined joined them. They have become stronger together and looking to have a really strong international performance here. Morgana taken off the table. To see the blue side banning Rumble out is a little bit atypical. It has been mostly red side banning Morgana as well as Rumble. But we are back to the Udyr, seeing honestly a lot more of it than I was kind of expecting coming into this tournament. It just feels like the new junglers that have been rising up have become so powerful that now they're just on the ban list every game. So Udyr is kind of the best of what is left over, it feels like, or at least what people are really comfortable with, you know, given that some of the other picks that people think are really strong these days, like the Kindred, are more niche.
Yeah, and some of it as well is, keep in mind, you know, Udyr was already like maybe 5th most popular champion in Pro, like around there, right? Like just below the 80% mark. Well, Hecarim got removed from the game, basically, unless you're the LJL entering a draft. Otherwise, though, removed from the game. And then, okay, well, just Morgana and Rumble are permanent ban lists. So then, yeah, Udyr's back to, you know, a top 2, top 3 jungler, and he goes. As, you know, Tristana priority generally went down. She was such a popular flex pick before, but received nerfs in, I think, around 11.6. And, you know, that can kind of shift things around there as well. Ultimately, yes, run of the draft, Udyr is back in, right? It's a good tank frontliner, one of the only tanks that clears well. I think Zach is probably playable, but that could be tricky, obviously. So, you know, it slots in the comp pretty nicely when you're looking for engage somewhere or frontline somewhere. He's about to put it. Leona could, of course, do the same. Very aggressive dual lane now available here for HolyPhoenix and Farfetch. If you keep that Tristana down at the bottom lane, you got a lot of pressure.
And we haven't seen Serin all year play Tristana, so you are expecting it to go down to that bottom lane. HolyPhoenix only has the 1 game on it, so of course it is possible as a flex, but due to the fact that we haven't seen Serin play it this year, I think most people will be expecting it to be piloted by HolyPhoenix down in that bottom lane. Kai'Sa plus Nautilus, very strong dive, point and click with the Nautilus ultimate and setup for the follow-up there from the Kai'Sa. And it is going to be the Volibear as the 3rd pick here. So this could be jungle, very likely will be. Of course, there is the small possibility that it goes up towards Armut. Can be a flex pick up in that top lane. And it is kind of along the style of some of those more fighter-style champions that he likes to play, but he did not play this in the LEC, and it was one of Elyoya's most played champions, one of the ones he was quite successful on. So I'm expecting it to be played in the jungle.
Silas ban makes me look towards Gnar. It's actually interesting. One of the strongest matches you can play into that champion. Silas Gnar is very Silas favored. No, just kidding. They're going to ban Gnar away themselves. Actually, that surprised me a fair bit because I thought that was actually the setup. But either way, they ban the champion and its counter. But that makes me think then that Mad Lions are likely blind picking mid and saving top for last, since Gnar is so often the safe blind pick top. We'll see what actually comes through, though. One final ban to come through on this side. Renekton going away here as well. Let's see what the draft's going to be.
It's really interesting. Teams are kind of banning out a lot of their most played champions, right? The Renekton is actually StarScreen's most played, Gnar the most played for Armut by quite a lot. So some of those most played champions, the meta changing somewhat, and we'll see what is going to result up in the top side. Humanoid going to be able to get the Viktor here. Played this 5 times in the LEC. You know, he's very comfortable on these control mages, had a good performance yesterday. And it is going to be Armut with the counter pick up on that top side. Will StarScreen go towards something like a tank? He has played a tremendous amount of different champions up in that top lane. Has, I believe, 15 different champions played throughout this year. A lot of them with only the 1 play, but there are some tanks in there. I think that probably would be the safest option for him in this game, given that Armut is not afraid to bring out some really aggressive counter picks, to bring out things like his Wukong that he's very well known for, like the Aatrox, and really try to punish some of these lanes.
All right, Ryze coming through for Serin, his 3rd split of professional play, and he's ready to go. All 3 splits here with this team. We'll see if he can make the first win on the board now for the squad. Again, top 2 in the group, what you're looking for there. Nocturne coming through in the end.
Okay.
And that is Nocturne top lane blind pick. Unless you're putting Udyr somewhere weird, that is a Nocturne top lane.
Really interesting to see the Nocturne as that blind pick here. It can actually be very difficult to punish with a lot of these matchups. I do think Wukong would have some trouble into it. You know, when you're trying to go really aggressive as that Wukong up on that top side, you know, dealing with the Fear Tether could be difficult, but the Wukong is going to be the lock here. Obviously, Armut going to know this matchup a lot better than I do. Wukong is not something that's played globally very often.
Yeah.
And Nocturne top is much more of a niche pick. You know, I am expecting StarScreen to just try to rely on the push, where you can look to punish that if you feel you have a winning 2v2, and both Volibear, you know, is pretty strong in that early game as well. So you could look to try to attack the Nocturne. If Nocturne is over pushing, utilizing the AoE cleave with the passive as well as the Q. If Armut could try to hold the wave in a difficult position, that's where you can maybe punish StarScreen. But usually in these melee matchups into Nocturne, you've got to force out the fear, you've got to force out the spell shield, and it's about multiple trades. Not just hard committing to an all-in fight right off the bat where you will get something spell shielded, you will get stuck in a full fear, and generally in those situations, Nocturne really is going to be set up for success. So it's going to be more about chipping down the Nocturne, forcing out these cooldowns, and then capitalizing on the windows where those are not available.
Yeah, that's going to be the big deal here. Can you get through into that one? Is there going to be a top diff here with the comfort pick here for Armut? And otherwise, what's the crossfire play going to be like? Because you got double global, functionally. Certainly, they're not terribly long range, neither Nocturne nor Ryze, like realistically, but it's still more mobility than walking. And so those champions can get around and get stuff done. And I'm excited to see what the side lanes look like as time moves on, the ranges increase and towers fall down. Always excited to see really chaotic map states because you just don't get a lot of games where there's two quasi globals on one side, and you just got to start being a lot more intuitive about your decision making because you can't play every game by the book. There's too many variations of champ select out there. So we are under the rift here for the 5th game of the day. WildCats representing Turkey. And see if they can find themselves their win as the Mad Lions representing Greater Europe in the LEC. Poised to be the best team in the group, but there's still tough competition here. They smashed yesterday, but is it going to be the same day, the same kind of situation here?
I'm going to be so interested to watch Elyoya, who has been a jungler that really has impressed me in the LEC this year. He's playing the press the attack on the Volibear, so a lot of early game power there. And he's got a lot of options as far as he wants to go. If Nocturne's over pushing top, you can simply attack that. You have the potential setup as well on that bottom side, pairing up with Kaiser, looking for those engages either on the roams towards mid lane with Kaiser or even attacking the bottom lane itself. So he's got some options here, and we'll see if they're going to be able to get priority in some of these lanes to allow him to really try to scrap around these scuttle crabs and try to exert his will on the map early on.
All right, now some aggressive wards coming down. Both teams spotting out movements around the bottom red buff, the south jungle. Another aggressive wards come through for Mad Lions as well. Looks like that was Elyoya's coming down. Recall for the sweeper, comes back. He's able to get back in time. If you go right away, you don't sit around. You just run over there, ward, recall, come back. You're going to have no problems. Very, very light leash from the Mad Lions side, so they're going to get back in a lane as soon as possible. But WildCats already in control of the bottom lane means they're going to have the control over level 2. Armut playing it defensively up here. Knows Nocturne's going to be waiting in a brush most likely. Not going to be allowed to CS here. Wow. Okay, yep, goes in for the E. And oh, the Q misses. Armut gets all 3 CS. Now, to be fair, so does StarScreen, but no damage.
Yeah, nicely done. Dodging back there quickly for Armut, but StarScreen did get the passive auto off there. It's worth noting that, they're going in, as HolyPhoenix is actually playing Exhaust, so there's no heal down on this bottom side for either lane. It is Exhaust versus Cleanse for the marksman players. Double Ignite is the option here. A lot of times you actually do see Exhaust taken against Tristana specifically because it is so effective when Tristana wants to go for aggressive plays, jumping in, putting yourself in range of the support for the Exhaust. And this could have been a game for Kaiser where it would be pretty nice. It's going to be strong against the Nocturne as well, but obviously feeling like they're going to have some kill pressure here, especially with the early game jungler, that Volibear over on their side. So he is going for that more aggressive option of the Ignite.
Fun stuff right there. Yeah, always good to see the aggressive exhaust though on Tristana. I think it does work out really well. You can't fight back against her, so she just gets the 3 or 4 autos off, and then if she doesn't want to jump away, she wants to jump away, she can. It's not going to be a problem. If you're getting assassinated, you exhaust them. It's still fine. So it's a great summoner choice there. Nice try on the anchor toss by Kaiser. Cannot land it though, and it's still just bot lane pressure here for HolyPhoenix and Farfetch. No problems down there. Knocking down the waves, and so far, not a terribly exciting early game. Full clear for the Volibear, starting the 6th camp now. Of course, Ferret is already done, and yes, indeed, Udyr does clear faster than Volibear. No one's surprised with this one. Bot scuttle going to be no problem at all. Bot has pressure, mid has pressure. Elyoya with the sweeper, going to make sure that top lane can't feel safe, as Nocturne recalls after 16 CS, grabs a cull.
But and he's just going to give up double scuttle potentially here. So, nice hook.
Yeah, big damage, half HP HolyPhoenix. Oh, he has no heal, and he goes down right away. The chase might continue. Farfetch tanky enough to survive, but first blood in the bottom lane. Beautiful by Mad Lions.
What a hook there from Kaiser, catching HolyPhoenix. no heal available. The Ignite goes down immediately, and they're able to pile in all summoners used and knock him down extremely fast. The early levels were looking pretty good for the Wildcats, as it looked like they were set up to double scuttle. You know, the Udyr's a little bit ahead on the pace. Nocturne was able to get a very quick reset for a call, but Kaiser just flips it on its head. Really well played by him.
All right, Armut, yeah, you can see the interaction there. Okay, the Fear Test is on, but you can just decoy away. But now maybe a fight for the top side, and actually Armut has to burn the flash because there could have maybe been a chase down. Obviously Nocturne with the trail on, obviously gets a lot done, but top lane is poised to freeze. So Armut needs help from his jungler. Otherwise, a repeat visit from Udyr will just kill the man if he wants to go for CS.
Yeah, I mean, he's TPing back, so he is going to try to reset this wave. He will move up there. We can see that Elyoya is over on his Raptor, so he's in this section of the map at the very least. Armut will move down to try to check the bush. You do this because even if the Udyr is there, at least it is only the Udyr. You're stuck in a 1v1 with the chance of Volibear coming in to help. If you go straight to the lane and the Udyr is in that brush, well, then you're in a 2v1 and you're just dead. So pretty smart stuff from Armut. We know that Udyr is not looking towards that top lane, so he will be able to reset it, but still, StarScreen in a pretty comfortable spot here, has secured himself a pretty nice CS advantage, and despite the fact that this resets, still has his TP, and he will be hitting 6 pretty soon. So there's a possibility that he could look to make a cross-map play. Now let's see this one more time here. Kaiser right around the minion, catches him with the corner of the hook there. Really nicely done. Just slightly off on the positioning was Farfetch. He tried to adjust to get in between his marksman and the Nautilus, was not able to do it in time. Kaiser sees the window there. Great engage from him. And again, Carzzy off to a good start. Had a fantastic game yesterday, going legendary, I believe. And he's looking to try to get going towards that same thing again here today.
Yep. Well, despite the bot lane having more gold and more items, that Noon Quiver obviously an outstanding power spike. It's Wildcats able to grab the first dragon of this game. You can see the gold very close between these teams. The top lane CS difference, a big part of that. Sure, there's a bit more for Armut to farm, but truly uncontested, StarScreen is winning top lane with the blind pick Nocturne into the Wukong sort of pocket pick. It's offsetting the bot lane first blood a little bit. And of course, the dragon feels good.
And it's really interesting. He actually rushed Bramble and then TP'd back. So, you know, he is really itemizing towards the armor here, the anti-heal. You know, even if Volibear goes up there, it's going to be fairly effective against the jungler. So, sitting in a pretty comfortable position, but a bit surprising to see him go this defensive. Perhaps he's worried more about the level 6, about the potential all-in there. It does feel like Nocturne has a very comfortable lane at the very least pre-6, but Armut still could be picking purely for the 5v5, or maybe for that matchup a little bit later on, and StarScreen is itemizing to try to preempt any issues he might have with that Wukong ult.
Absolutely. It also strikes me that he might want to consider going Mercury Treads in this game potentially, or you know, some kind of non-armor boots, like maybe even cooldown, because well, there's so many hard CCs in the Mad Lion side, and you know, you don't really want to have to go steel caps when there's a Nautilus messing with you and a Viktor on there. So that might be the only armor item he's ever really allowed to buy, and he's like, well, I'm going to buy it now, and then you know, I'll just keep lane pressure. No big deal. Leave me alone. Top side, Udyr's coming around. Still flashless on Wukong, but with the ulti and with decoy, it is very hard to force that gank, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah, they were trying to cheat up towards that top side, hoping that Armut would go aggressive, but he's too smart for that. He knows Volibear's down on the bottom side. He knows he is without his flash, so he has to play it safe, and will do so here. Humanoid cheating down towards that bottom side, where Volibear is sitting, and they're going in. They're
going for the big dive. Huge amount of damage right now onto the support, but he's very tanky on Leona. Not going to be going down. Instead, they trade back onto Elyoya. The ult, I don't know if it ever just turned off the turret or what, but an easy kill back on the Volibear.
It did turn off the turret, but Ferret is coming in, and that's not usually the way you want to start it up. Generally, you see a lot of people will start it up with the support, then turn off the tower, and then continue the dive. You know, he started the dive straight up with the ultimate, so he did disable the tower, but they weren't dealing damage right off the bat.
Great anchor, though. Big damage. W's going to land, and the kill comes through. Carzzy 2-0. Tristana not quite able to trade back on a Kaiser, but a flash into a slowing smite means the chase is here for Carzzy. Explosive charges on. That is going to be a kill. Be careful. Oh, and nearly dies. Minions are almost there. He will survive, just barely. HolyPhoenix 2-1 now, but a kill traded back in the bottom side.
Yeah, that auto cancel from HolyPhoenix made me a little bit nervous there. I had to give over the kill to Udyr, unfortunately, so Tristana doesn't get it. But the Wildcats, a really nice counterplay here. They're able to answer the dive down on this bottom side. This was spotted, so Udyr is going to be moving down. The turret is disabled, but again, who are they hitting? They're hitting the Leona with W and Aftershock up. You know, we see that HolyPhoenix had kited back to a great position, was untouched throughout that. Carzzy could not access him. Kaiser could not access him whatsoever. Kaiser again finding a nice hook here, did get a kill back, but then on the top side, we're fighting at Scum.
We're fighting again there. The new aspect replay was what you saw, but now we're fighting another battle on the top side. Armut gets himself the first kill of the game on his side. Nicely done. Do not fight for that man's objectives. Top lane belongs to him. The Mad Lions claim the first Rift Herald of the game, and that's going to maybe catapult their gold lead forward. Already up 600 thanks to PvP combat. And with the turret in their sights somewhere, and they might just, you know, knock down another 1,000 or so to their name. Right now, a fight in the top side. Armut takes a bit of damage. Honestly, though, he's fine.
We'll be fine. Yes, StarScreen does have a pretty good build if you're just kind of scrapping 100-0, but there's not a lot of pressure coming out of a Call and Bramble Vest as your early buys. So Armut can't exactly all-in StarScreen, but you're really not in danger of dying unless the jungler is there also as a result of this build. So we'll see where StarScreen does go. The traditional builds, you know, are the kind of bruiser, tanky builds where you will go. And that's more what I'm expecting. It'll be interesting to see if he wants to go just pure tank after his mythic item, or if he wants to go still, you know, multiple semi-damage items and just made a pit stop for that Bramble Vest early on.
Yep, so based on the Iron Spike Whip, he's going Stride Breaker or Gore Drinker. I actually think both are reasonable choices. There's way more stats, way more durability if you go for Gore Drinker, but obviously it's way easier to keep your Fear Tether on if you go Stride Break.
Exactly.
And that's just, look, do I want to frontline better? Do I want to make sure we stick better? And that is a consideration. It is not obviously one or the other. Top lane fighting again, you can see that without Stride Break, he still gets the Fear Tether, right? So you don't always need it to make the difference, but, you know, someone with more mobility, maybe you think about it.
Yeah, and I think for the ultimate, that's one of the things that I find really, really effective about Stridebreaker when you're playing Nocturne, is you ult in, you hit them with the Q, you hit them with the Stridebreaker. Farfetch, still no flash. He's just going to die here, unfortunately.
Gonna drop. Humanoid gets first kill, and that's Mad Lions in position here for the second dragon of the game. First, of course, was taken by fastPay Wildcats, but Mad Lions here with the kill and the support. Yeah, Ferret doesn't even have smite up right now. There's going to be no contest. There's going to be some top pressure, though. Looks like 2 plates going to be taken to the Nocturne. And that'll be kind of the only claim there. Otherwise, though, Mad Lions, 700 gold lead. Plus, they should be tying up the dragon count.
Farfetch has got to be a little bit careful. That's 2 kind of careless deaths, you know, walking into areas that they didn't really control. Up over by the Rift Herald gives over an easy one, and then still on the same flash cooldown, walking over towards the dragon without the prep necessary, without the teammates around to protect him. He goes down as well. And Elyoya here, they're looking for a kill and then Herald.
He's got flash, burns it, still stunned up though. Ult's gonna land for the slow as well, but rooted in place under the turret. Can't get much more because TP's coming in. Nocturne ults, then TPs, turns out the lights, then chases in. And Elyoya is down. StarScreen, his first kill of the game.
Nicely done by StarScreen. A great turnaround there. As Elyoya, these dives are not working out for him whatsoever. Tried it down on the bottom side, gets taken out. Tries it in mid lane, gets taken out again. And now StarScreen, he's looking like he wants to scrap pretty heavily here.
Conqueror stacked up, decent damage there. Armut though with Trinity Force is a very, very big threat. Thankfully for StarScreen, no second dash available. Cooldown's too long, only comes back in about a second or so. So able to walk away, but there is some real punishment available on both sides.
Absolutely, and Serin is here. That is why he's staying around. Armut handling this well. We'll be able to back it up. We'll see if Serin wants to stay here and send StarScreen over towards mid, but looks like he will just reset, and Serin will head back towards the mid lane. So Armut doing a good job handling that pressure.
And off we go. 700 gold, still the difference though between these two is at least a bit of turret damage and a plate happened. We're gonna see when Elyoya summons Rift Herald. We've got very little time left until the plates drop, under a minute. And top lane had some pressure, but it's still 4 plates up. Bot lane's at 5, mid lane's at 5. Sorry, you're not gonna get first turret or the entire turret off the Herald summon, but hey, you can earn 320 gold and split that a couple of ways. So wanna see where the Volibear goes, because he's gotta cash in before too long. Nice little anchor, not gonna mean a ton though, stunned back. And honestly, you can maybe go for some decent damage. Aggressive ulti sidestepped. Explosive Charge still hits too. There's the summon on Herald. Should crash in mid lane and knock that down to about 2,000 health.
Yeah, Serin kind of just walking out towards the top side. That was a little bit strange. Maybe didn't actually recognize that it went down, and now he gets stunned.
Done twice, done several times. Ulti is on, and the kill comes through. That is a very silly bit of pathing there from the Ryze. A free kill given over the mid lane.
That was so careless from Serin, who has been playing a pretty strong game here, but just gives over a freebie, out of position, tries to walk a greedy path through the Viktor. You cannot walk from one end of gravity field to the other without getting stunned unless you have a dash or something like that. Just walks in, gets stunned up by the gravity field, stunned up by the Volibear, gives over a free kill.
Well, wave's going to be picked up. StarScreen trying to be everywhere, honestly, right? Help defend the mid lane, now coming back to top to get what he can do. Managed to force Armut's ult out a little while back, but didn't get much for it. Just a 10 CS difference there on the top side. StarScreen indeed the richest man in the game. And so we'll see if he's going to be the one to do so. Grabs himself the Kindle gem. And now Armut once again in a battle top side. But level 11 to 10 means more stats on the side of the Wildcats. But as Elyoya shows up at the 2v1, and that could be enough damage. Flash to safety, nearly took the ulti at the end of it all. Might have been burned regardless. Armut takes the assist as Elyoya grabs the kill.
Nice job by Elyoya getting up towards that top side. StarScreen saw an opportunity to go aggressive. Looked like he was winning that 1v1, but Armut only opted in because his jungler was behind him and getting down to this bottom side.
Phew, man, HolyPhoenix about to be turned back into an egg for that one. Thankfully able to stay alive, but it's all dead. Now, as they've already picked up the Udyr, and it's time for round 2 as reinforcements have arrived. Not enough for the kill. Out goes Kaiser. Another unanswered kill for Mad Lions.
Carzzy breaking their ankles there. The target selection from the Wildcats was not what you want at all. Feels like the wheels are kind of falling off here for them as you're all-inning on the Nautilus as a Tristana, while Carzzy is just free-firing on you. Like, this is a very strong Kai'Sa. Look over at the items. He's already got the upgraded Q, he has the Kraken Slayer, as well as the serrated Dirk, and he's just free-firing on HolyPhoenix as HolyPhoenix is hitting onto Kaiser. That pushes him out of the fight immediately. Ferret goes down as the rest are coming in. He dies, and they don't even get a kill for it.
Okay, be careful. Damage puts him down to 1k HP. StarScreen ultiless for a couple more seconds. Could come back in. Volibear can't go for the scuttle anymore. Gonna be handed back off to the Wildcats there as it's claimed by Ferret. But look at the game state. It has accelerated a 4,000 gold lead off of 3 kills. And we can see Kaiser.
Yeah.
Target here, doesn't matter.
Yeah, again, it's just the target selection, right? You're spending all your damage onto Kaiser there, and the exhaust came out late as well for HolyPhoenix. Now he's getting TP'd on. Farfetch is here, but Armut has ult.
Yep, just now has it. Able to jump forward. Looks for Trist. Flash to safety. Stun going to come out from Leona to keep Armut away, and he can't find his targets. The ult doesn't mean much, but now Nocturne is in the fight. He's got a Stridebreaker. Chases right back in. Finds himself the kill. Serin on the board now as well.
StarScreen is actually having a really good game.
Yes.
Nice roam by him. He has really been in the right place, right time, but they're getting caught.
And Farfetch will fetch a nice price, about 130 gold for the death streak so far. Volibear over the top. Ryze finds his second, though. And a shutdown comes through for HolyPhoenix. Be careful. Jumps it away from the Viktor. Staying alive now. Humanoid going to drop as well. Wildcats just crushing this team fight. Low health bars, but they're healthy enough. And now Kaiser will be chased down. There was a gold lead. That gold lead is gone.
And they're going to lose the dragon as well. Huge fight here for the Wildcats. Countering the play initially, taking down Armut, who had no flash because of the scrap up on the top side. StarScreen really having a hell of a game here. Down to that bottom side at the right time for the counterplay. The Nocturne comes in. Yes, HolyPhoenix is being focused and pushed out of the fight. But that meant that Ferret and Serin, who are actually quite strong, were relatively untouched, and their damage is not to be ignored at this stage of the game.
Zale, we're looking at some upset victories today here. Certainly
yeah.
Cloud9 versus the LJL's Detonation Focus Me. That was expected to go Cloud9's way. That went to DFM. This time around, Wildcats already 0-1, not expected to beat Mad Lions, but fights like this are where they brought the game right back to equal.
Yep, Armut coming straight on in. HolyPhoenix, good flash. He flashes early, knowing he had to get out of there, and Armut realizing his mistake, recognizing that he went a bit too far, but now in the mid lane, HolyPhoenix kills off Humanoid.
Humanoid's gone, and now the dive under the turret. No escape tools left for the Wukong, and he's gonna lose his life. How about the chase down? A flash to safety. StarScreen keeps setting up these battles. Farfetch will at least drop, but it's still a 2-for-1. It's a victorious battle here.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2-for-1, and it's also the solo laners for the support. You'll take that trade any day of the week. Mad had gotten themselves back into a pretty good position after what was a tougher early game than I think they were expecting coming into this one. And now, big team fight win on the bottom side, a second dragon for the Wildcats, a successful play now in mid lane, and they're getting themselves into a really good position. Mad are gonna have to clean up their play here if they want to be able to take this game.
Well, big stun coming across from Kai'Sa to buy a bit of space, but Herald, Smite fight, claim, nicely done by Elyoya. 100 gold goes to him, but can the Herald be picked up? Honestly, yes. Okay, it's going to be the Wildcats flinching, backing off. You know, you could take it as second Herald. It's not that important. It's going to be like 2,700 damage to a turret. That part matters, but no plate gold, of course. It's far too late for that to happen. We'll see now. 200 gold difference, but 2 dragons to 1. Very slightly, you probably favor the Turks here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're looking pretty good thus far. We'll have to see how the game shakes out, though. Very even overall. HolyPhoenix going to be able to grab this turret. Should be solo gold onto him. Get him up towards that PD. Second item should be coming through. But down on the bottom side, Humanoid has been farming very well. Is looking to pressure this tower as well. You can see that HolyPhoenix has now become actually the richest member in the game. But they're going for Humanoid.
It's Nocturne. Lands the Q. Lands a stride break. He's afraid. He's running back. He's nearsighted. But there's just enough of a defense that he cannot find the solo kill. Bot lane turret dives with, I believe, no local gold given over, but still 250 on the scoreboard. And, of course, the map pressure from that turret being down. Good job by Mad Lions to get themselves a bit more gold in their pockets, a bit more map control overall.
Yeah, nicely done. Humanoid able to survive. Elyoya very quick on the response there to defend his mid laner. But the critical part, really, is that Serin just never gets in range. He's not adding any damage. He TP's straight into the Viktor gravity field. He didn't have his ultimate, or he used his ultimate and ran out of it. I'm not actually sure. It looks like with the cooldown there, potentially dropped it right as he came and then got stunned by the gravity field, interrupting the ultimate, I believe is what may have happened. But even committing the flash, he couldn't get up onto Humanoid. So despite the fact that StarScreen looked like he would have barely won that 1v1, Elyoya showing up is the difference maker. They get the tower, they keep their mid laner alive. Successful play for Mad Lions, and it climbs them back up into a very slight gold lead.
All right, well, right now, 5 turkey greater than 1, and Istanbul Wildcats. I mean, I shouldn't really say that. It's still a very, very close game. It's just, it swung so much from 6 minutes ago that it just feels like they've got all the pressure right now. 2 kill Tristana on a full 2 items with the Phantom Dancer in there. That's comfortable, but of course, 2 item Kai'Sa, no slouch either. Not going for the defensive option of a Gale Force. This would have been one of those, you know, defensive dash back to get away from things like Nocturne and Udyr, but instead, just strict single target damage output there. Weirdly still Collector second, despite being out-attack focused build, so that feels like a bit of a desync. Regardless, though, Baron is the target right now for Mad Lions. It's time for the Wildcats to defend. A flash forced out of Farfetch, as now Ferret goes for some damage against Armut. Might be zoned out. Still 3k health on the Baron. And comes in for the dive. Big damage for the Nocturne. Kai'Sa onto the back line, but not enough for the kill. Elyoya finds a kill on a StarScreen. Second one comes down to Leona as well. That was second diver, and it means absolutely nothing. Baron will heal back up, but a 2-for-0 feels great.
Yeah, big overcommit there on the dive from the Wildcats. StarScreen and Farfetch going so deep in the backline, and Armut's on him.
Flash dive comes in, 1 picked off already now for the second, and it's only a jungler left alive. What a team fight for Mad Lions. They've come to international events as Splice before, but the first time internationally as Mad Lions, and they're looking great. Sorry, second time now as Mad Lions, and they are making up for the sins of last year, taking a very decisive fight now, and looking to be a game 2 win against the fastPay Wildcats.
Yeah, that is huge for them, because not only do they get the team fight win, they get the Baron, they lose no one, they should get the Dragon off the back of this as well. And Farfetch just kind of too far ahead of the rest of his team, right? He walks straight into the hook, has to immediately flash out, and then they make the call to go in. But again, Serin and HolyPhoenix, how are they supposed to connect to this? When you're actually diving past the front line, Serin and HolyPhoenix cannot walk through the Wukong, cannot walk through the ultimate from Viktor and the Nautilus to actually connect with that Viktor. So they have to think about their carries and who they can actually attack. I think they could have played that out a lot more slowly, but Matt find the angle after the initial misplay there from the Wildcats. They punish heavily. Armut catches those carries. They burst them down, and now they have a very significant gold lead. They've stopped the snowball towards Seoul, and they are in full control.
I agree with your point, though, Azale, about the fact that there's not a diver alongside. There's no, Graves or Ezreal or any other super long-range skill shot to come join the Nocturne. There's no Akali coming in over the top. It's like, well, we're Ryze and Trist. We're hitting frontline.
Yeah.
Like, Udyr has to literally waddle at you. So if you're not one-shotting, you are doing nothing. And part of why I said, Gordon could have made some sense. It's, 600 health difference when you count the active. Just frontlining can sometimes be the difference, unfortunately, for StarScreen. The amazing early game has turned into a couple of deaths in a row, accomplishing nothing, and a very squishy champion right now, finally trying to finish a nice thing. Good job there, knocks a couple of turrets down, gets rid of the inhibitor turret up there, which against Baron, that's impressively done.
Yeah, and they didn't even lose their mid lane tier 2. So, Mad kind of has to back up in this game of chicken because they could continue to push. If an additional member didn't actually back to cover Humanoid, there's potential of a dive. So far, the Baron power play has gone negative since the actual take of the Baron. Of course, that is the 1,500 gold. They have gone negative 1k since then. There's still a lot of time for them to pick up gold, but some nice map play there, clever thoughts from the Wildcats to actually make the best of a bad situation. Mad, though, still about a minute here left on that Baron. The mid lane tower is low. You expect them to collect that. You expect them to potentially be able to pressure another one and then extend their advantage from this Baron.
Well, wave's going to go down. Still letting Nocturne pick up a lot of the farm on the side. Tristana getting the majority share on the Wildcats side, but it's about Mad Lions in the road towards a 2-0 start to this group. Crossing T's and dotting I's with the gold lead they've got, 3,500. With still Baron on for 20 seconds means they can knock down another turret or two and grow that lead even further. Seems likely. Top lane tier 2 unanswered, just leaving Nocturne on a split push to continue earning some gold, get to the third item after Sterix. Maybe that's going to be a Thornmail. We'll see what it turns into. But yeah, they're going to give away the inhibitor turret as well, saying, look, there's no chance for us to team fight. Front line's too good. The back line's too good. We're just going to go for cross-map plays, knock down some other objectives, give away the inhibitor. And okay. Volibear maybe is chaseable. HolyPhoenix, though, going to go for big damage in mid lane tier 2. Now Udyr runs fast.
On, though.
He's got blue smite. Can they find more as TPs are coming across? Ulti over the wall for Elyoya. The rest of the team going to come around as best they can, but if he's not in vision, Nocturne can't find him. Blue Trinket going to miss, actually, so no Nocturne target. Just the ulti out for Elyoya, not the worst thing ever. Second blue smite comes around, another stun, and Tristana over the top, buster shot backwards. They might find that kill. There's no other objective up, though. It's 2 minutes on Dragon, but at least a kill comes across. So nice tenacity to find themselves a play and a bit of gold. As the turret score, despite losing Baron, is 7-6 still for the Turkish side. Very well played on macro's perspective. The gold difference, only 1,900. Impressive for losing Baron.
I mean, they outplayed absolutely after the Baron take. They got more gold post-Baron than Mad Lions did. They were up 3-4K after the initial Baron take. That gold lead has been basically cut in half. They get the shutdown from Volibear onto Trist critically. Tristana took the mid lane tier 2, solo gold from that as well. So HolyPhoenix got such a big injection of gold. Armut also TP'd mid to try to take out the Tristana, but wasn't able to actually connect with him as Serin was there to defend. So HolyPhoenix finishes off the mid lane turret, moves up towards the top side, takes the red buff, takes the Volibear. He gets it all, and he's going to be in a position here to potentially carry the game because this Tristana is becoming a pretty big problem here for the Mad Lions. He is going to be very, very rich.
Yep.
He's finished not only the IE, he got the IE and a BF on top. So this is a really, really strong Trist. But Mad have the tools to dive backline and take him out. If he mispositions, if he gets caught by a flank from Armut, Carzzy over top with the ultimate. Viktor even has some backline access with his ult as well as that laser. So he's got to play very, very careful because while he has potential for a huge amount of damage output, he's got no defense whatsoever, and really not anyone to kind of keep him that safe besides just the Leona's locket.
Yeah, I think the BF sword, I'm thinking about the items you could buy. It's almost certainly Guardian Angel.
Oh, gee, okay, yeah.
Because, it's not Death's Dance. It doesn't build into that, I don't think. He's got the Infinity Edge, so it's not Bloodthirster anymore, I think, either, right? I think that build also changed.
Yep,
so
it's GA.
yeah, it like kind of has to be Guardian Angel. There's a stopwatch, of course, because like, look, the only way I die is, you know, Wukong dive. So, you know, that's what he's playing around. Bloodthirster could have done similar things with just a flat shield, of course, on top. But, you know, whatever. We're going to move on past the builds because there's more important things going on, such as Mad Lions sitting on 3 dragons now and a 1,000 gold lead. As much as fastPay WildCats have made good plays in the mid game and come back from a very, very rough spot, it is still Mad Lions' game. They are the ones in the lead. You look at the gold deficits, you know, only 1K different than AD carries, not a big problem there. You're still 3 items on Kai'Sa.
And my biggest question is, do the Wildcats know how to play out 5v5s in a way that they can win, right? Because it's not going to work hard diving your Nocturne and your Leona into the backline with no follow-up. That is not going to cut it against the Mad Lions. They will have their front line, you know, playing bodyguard, zoning out your carries, and then their backline will just kill your divers. They don't have enough damage at this point, but here's a fight.
Big damage to Farfetch. Frontline Leona going to jump in, then flash right back out. Re-engage for Wukong is going to be enough damage. And on the backside, the Nocturne just does absolutely nothing. A trade on the opposing support, but it's still a 3v4 team fight. A flash done for Ferret into running away for dear life. He's quick, but he's not quicker than the bear full-time. Better than a bear part-time. A shutdown now for Armut. And hey, guess what? Baron is alive again. They've got a jungler. They've got the objective in their sights.
Huge engage there for the Mad Lions. HolyPhoenix was dancing on the side of that team fight, but was really not able to be involved at all. And while Kaiser went down, he pretty much kept the Tristana occupied the entire fight. So while the rest of his team was able to get those kills, grab themselves another Baron, Mad Lions, another team fight win. You can watch the Tristana on the bottom side of your screen. He's having to wait for the hook. He sidesteps the hook, but still hasn't been able to enter. Then as he starts moving forward, Carzzy says, all right, I'll just flash on you. Sure, I'll die, but he's bought enough time for StarScreen to go down, for the opposing Leona to go down, and even Ferret is sectioned off. You know, they know the Tristana is the problem, so as the support, it's totally fine to, you know, spend your spells as well as your life to just keep him occupied. That is always going to be a winning trade, and Mad Lions are just showing, you know, much better team fighting here, despite the fact that the Wildcats have played the map well and kept the game close as a result.
And honestly, it feels like Wukong is just tankier than Nocturne right now. Overall, like, more durability in the items. Lieutenant Caedrel, obviously really, really great. The gold income, certainly meaningful in that regard as well, as I think we're towards Stone Plate for StarScreen. That'll be a big, you know, surge of durability, but that's still a ways to go till it's actually done. Mad Lions with Baron buff on for the next 2 minutes still. The Red Bull Baron, it's going to be a lot done. Bot lane inhibitor now going to be under fire. And we'll see now if the turret can drop. It's going to be a nice kind of dive in. Volley turns off the turret, and they turn off Udyr. They get rid of Leona as well, and this dive is going to look good. 5 versus 3. Kai'Sa, oh! Too much for Carzzy, and that means the re-engage could be good. A turret's going to drop. A flash re-engage for Volibear. Finds him the kill as well, and suddenly the carries have mostly dropped. HolyPhoenix now up against 4. They're fairly low health bars. It might be able to defend, but this is going to be a couple of heroics required now as Armut can just TP back in. The dive and the Stridebreaker not going to be enough, though. Tristana, can it wave clear? Wants to knock down the minions. Nice explosive charge, buys some time, but the cannon's still there, plus the reinforcement wave. 2v4 to defend. 1 turret gone, waiting for respawns. They're coming pretty soon. That means Mad Lions will walk away. 1.5 minutes on Dragon Soul. And now Wildcats, can they find the re-engage? StarScreen at a half HP. And they're not spread apart that much. Guardian Angel is up for HolyPhoenix. He's got some damage, he's got some durability. Mad Lions walk away cleanly, and they have enough time easily to recall, spend their gold, and then set up for Dragon, and set up for Soul.
And because Wildcats couldn't get any exit kills here, they're not going to have the advantage unless they get Kaiser. That would be big for this next ensuing Dragon fight here. Kaiser has no flash.
Smite is the slow. Second stun going to come across as well. That's going to be StarScreen easily able to claim this one. Oh, shield comes in for a bit more, but
too.
With the Fearless going to be a kill picked off. Okay, that is 1 for nothing. The respawn will put him in about 12 seconds before the dragon spawns. That means that Kaiser cannot play for vision. Wildcats should own the bottom river when it's time to go for dragon.
And Armut had his ultimate forced out there at the very end too. That might be up again. Nice hook from Kaiser, bending it around the turret. They get the initial kill onto Ferret, but HolyPhoenix this time played it well, kited back, got the initial hits, and now they're on the push here. They're just going for broke.
Oh no, they're gonna catch him, Humanoid!
He's dead!
He's dead instantly! Goomba stomp forward, HolyPhoenix gets a bit of damage down there, kites away from the ulti, but now this is a potential game winner. It's a potential game winner in the fact that it is a 5-on-4. They're gonna back up instead. They know bot wave's pushing in. They have to respect that. The Ryze ult comes down to play for the Dragon. They're gonna deny Soul. They're not gonna go for the game winner. Wave clear is going to be too good. Just be careful, because there's only one Nexus turret, and that is a very big wave. If there's a way to somehow stop recalls and dive down mid, there could be a very strange game ender here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if they can get these recalls off. Looks like they will be able to. Mad has to be careful, because if you face check to try to actually stop the recalls, remember, Humanoid is dead. So if you lose a fight, your mid lane inhibitor's already down. You could lose the game as well. I mean, this game really is on a knife's edge here. Mad clearly are winning all the 5v5s, but the Wildcats are straight up actually out-macroing them. They're playing the map better. They are being able to find these advantages in these weird situations, find catches, but it's the superior team fighting of the Mad Lions that has kept them in the advantage. And now we're at a point where both teams are at soul point. The next one is going to spell such a big power spike for whoever gets it. And both teams have an inhibitor down. You know, this is one team fight away, one pick potentially away from ending the game for either side.
Looking for it now. Soul point for both teams now. 4 minutes until one of these teams gets the Infernal Soul and makes those one shots all the more likely. Meanwhile, Baron up in 130, and it currently belongs, at least vision-wise, to Mad Lions. They got the first 2 Barons already. What would be a third? Why not?
This is actually really big. The Lord Dominic's now complete for HolyPhoenix. He's full build, so he can actually shred the front line pretty effectively at this point. You add in that Lord Doms on top of everything he has. He hits 100% crit. He has all of that armor pen, that bonus damage against these frontliners, and they're going to start to go down really in a hurry here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be up to someone from the Mad Lions to keep this Tristana out of the fight. Whether it's Kaiser, whether it's Armut, it doesn't matter, but someone has got to be zoning the Tristana, because if the Tristana is consistently auto-attacking, anyone can die very, very fast.
The nice thing is Wukong is one of those best champions for that.
Absolutely.
You have, like, what, 2.2 seconds of hard crowd control. You can't cleanse, you can't tenacity it. It just happens to you. You go back into stealth. She's not autoing you anymore. You can take the explosive charge, then just, like, drop it by running away, basically. Like, those tools do exist. Kaiser is going to have a long duration stun there as well. Most of that can't be tenacity either. You can cleanse some of it, but not all of it. So you can lock down HolyPhoenix for a bit. You can even try to kite when, you know, Trist pops Q and you know, get away from that cooldown. We'll see, though. Navigated well. Certainly it can be Mad Lions team fight. Baron's up in 10 seconds. Like I said, they own the vision.
Yeah. And the Wildcats have struggled in this area. They have really struggled when it's a preset 5v5 that Mad are choosing. And this is, again, that situation. They're studying up the Baron. There is a potential flank here from Armut on the side, but he will be spotted.
When Blue Trinket used to spot this one, still going on to the Baron, though that means position can be a little bit better on this side. Farfetch walking in, 4K health. Nocturne almost in range. Is there going to be a smite fight? It's just going to be a freebie given over to Elyoya, and no counterpunch until they just caught the Leona. At what point, Wildcats, were you going to take that fight? Giving away their support, not playing for the Baron, and it's now time to run away. A Ryze ult brings them to safety, but it's time to now turtle inside your base for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, Farfetch has really been struggling around these neutral objectives so many times in the river. It feels like he's just giving up his life for free. 1 and 9 now on the Leona. Has consistently been the one, you know, stepping forward, trying to get vision, but he's going a little bit too far forward. He's committing a little bit too much and often getting punished here for it. Mad now with potential to end the game if they can get a pick. They're looking for HolyPhoenix. There's a Blast Cone play available. Leona's going to be up in 10, though. They got to play it safe until their support is there.
Gotta wait for those 5 seconds, but the Red Bull Baron is on. Oh, that hook could have meant the game. Thankfully, Ferret sidestepped it. Leona alive, and it's time to knock down inhibitor number 2. Don't gotta play for turrets just yet. Get the easy objectives, right? With Baron buff on, with the better team fighting, with no flanks available, why not go for it? Into the front line they go. Stuns on both supports. Huge damage, and already down goes Kaiser. As long as Farfetch can live, running the flash. Nocturne now dives in, but without Leona, that's not enough damage. Armut diving in now for a knockup on everybody. Kai'Sa joining the battle, and that's now 2 kills picked up, and another one coming over as Farfetch cannot make the fight happen. Tristana, HolyPhoenix, can you do it? He needs the attacks, and he gets them. The jump means nothing. The buster shot, barely. Carzzy lives. Round 2, GA pop, the shutdown for Volibear, and that's gonna be it. The Guardian Angel keeping Carzzy alive, and it's time to end the game. It was a slobber knocker, but Mad Lions will go 2-0 in the group so far, knocking down Wildcats.
What a game between these two teams. So close, so tightly contested. Armut hitting you with the classic stare there, looking into your soul. Mad Lions coming away with the win, but that was such a back and forth game. So many close plays for the Wildcats. Their team fighting just not quite as good when it came down to it. It was 3 Barons, I believe, secured by Mad due to their superior team fighting, due to them being able to pick off the Leona consistently around those neutral objectives, find the way in there. And it felt like, despite the initial play, despite the fact that it was actually a missed flash hook there from the Nautilus and they get the first free kill, they didn't wait for Leona reset off of really low health. And had they done that, they perhaps could have just set up for a potential soul or even a re-engage in the 5v4, but they decided to go for it, and it came down to the slimmest of margins, but it did not work out for the Wildcats. Carzzy able to stay alive, Elyoya able to stay alive and critically claim that win for their team.
Well, good job to Mad Lions, the only 2-0 team in this group right now. Of course, stay tuned for Game 6. Maybe that changes, but they are the top seed of the group. They're still first place right now. So far, so good. But based on how the games have looked, clearly there are some close battles ahead. They've got the work cut out for them. When in return, we will break down Mad's win, and Dash talks with Armut about facing his former region. See you soon.
Smell irresistible. The new Axe effect.
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 19 trillion moves in advance. Not fair. Not fair.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, everyone. Standing by with Armut after that absolutely crazy game. My friend talked to me. That one looked sketchy. It could have gone either way at multiple points throughout the game. So just reflecting back on it, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it was really fun actually, but we played poorly, but I liked it because like game was so fun because it was so intense. Like no one knew who could win. Like both sides could win, so it was really fun to play.
It was wildly exciting to watch. We saw you on your signature Wukong, but I want to talk to you about the fact that you were playing up against the TCL because as many people know, you represented the TCL with Supermassive just last year at Worlds. Now you're over representing the LEC, but getting to play against your old region. What was it like to be able to step up against those 5 guys?
It was really nice to see the familiar faces around me again, like because I also faced them in TCL last year, so it was good to see them back.
Well, I mean, again, we were. It was a ton of fun to watch. But I also want to talk to you a little bit about the top lane meta because, as I said, we saw you on the Wukong in this game. But just within this tournament, we've seen everything from the Gnar and the Scion for some people, all the way to the carry champions like Jace, Nocturne, and across really every lane, there's been a lot of flexibility in the meta. What is it, do you think, about the current state of the game that makes it feel like it's such a flexible meta?
That's a pretty good question, actually. No, I don't know all the reasons, but I think meta just changed so hard right now, and people are just still trying to figure out the meta at the moment, so people are just trying. I think we're gonna see a lot of different champions also, because meta just came, so yeah, people are trying to figure out which one is the best.
Talking a little bit about the expectation for the Mad Lions coming into the tournament. Again, knowing that you just joined the LEC, but you're stepping into a region that is known for competing on the international stage. In fact, it's G2 who was the last winners of MSI. You unseated them to get here, and I talked a little bit to Carzzy before the tournament about the expectation, and he's hoping that you guys can live up to that expectation. Do you feel like Mad Lions has what it takes to be able to retain that trophy for the LEC?
I mean, after last game, I don't want to talk so much. I mean, but like I think when we are playing, like our potential is really insane. We have really insane potential. So I'm not expecting, but I would say we have potential to win MSI this year. Yeah.
All right, that's what I like to hear. And part of that's going to mean that everyone on the team individually is going to have to perform well. But talking about you specifically, there's some really top-tier top laners that are on the horizon if you make it into the next stage. People like Khan, people like Xiao who's actually, in fact, won this tournament before, just from the mid lane. Anyone in particular that you're looking forward to facing, and who do you think is going to be your biggest test?
My biggest test? I think in laning, it will be Xiao, because Khan is like playing for his team. I think they are both really skilled. But I think Xiao playstyle is more like aggressive laning. So if I blind pick Gnar, he will go Lucian, for example. So that guy is going to be a hard one.
I mean, he'll go Lucian, and he'll go with the Lee Sin.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of picks up there in the top lane. Well, Armut, I want to thank you again for taking the time. Congratulate you on the 2-0 that you guys have kicked off the group stage with. And from here, we're going to toss it back to Sjokz at the desk to break down the rest of that game.
Thank you, Dash. I love your hair. Also, both Armut saying they have the potential to win MSI. Elyoya did the same thing yesterday. We'll see if manifesting works. But he also said, I don't know how much I can say after that specific game. And I think that's right, as I welcome you back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, because that was a very, very close game. I may go to Dagda first. I mean, it was kind of the lane prowess from Mad Lions up versus the WildCats, who did so well in those mid-game team fights.
Yeah, I really thought that once we saw Carzzy getting ahead, that we'd actually see kind of just Mad Lions taking over the game from there. It felt like the composition that they had so much in terms of zone control, a really strong front line, that even though you had the dive potential coming in from the Nocturne, there just wasn't enough follow-up there to really try and build a path through on towards the likes of Carzzy and Humanoid in these team fights. So I thought we'd actually see them start to take over, but as we saw, that 17-minute team fight started sending things all over the place, and it turned into a bedlam of a game.
Yeah, and I think you saw the Mad Lions draft. If you just look at it from now, you have the Volibear, which is the early game bridge for the team fighting comp that they have with the Viktor Wukong. Kai'Sa, Nautilus. And you saw that. You got the ganks, the lane phases were going well for Mad, but IW, they were just putting numbers advantages to the fights, and they got the numbers advantages when it came to the fights, and that's why they got the mid-game team fights in their favor. And I think that was one key thing. The first Baron, although Mad Lions did sneak in and won the fight, they actually made a mistake, I think. Their macro was quite poor. They dropped the top tier 3, and then when they came for the sieges, they dropped to mid-wave, and they were able to, in some WildCats, were able to get 2 towers mid, 1 tower bot, and they're actually losing out on tower trades with the Baron.
Yeah, it looked like in the later stage of the game, the macro from the WildCats was better, but they couldn't peel off as much in the team fights, or they couldn't engage in the right way. We're jumping ahead a little bit. That's because there was so much going on in that game. I do want to also focus on the early game. There was a lot to say about Carzzy and Kaiser coming into this tournament. In lane, they did phenomenally, Caedrel, but I think we're also going to see how some dives didn't go as well for Mad, and the WildCats reacted very well, but this was sick, by the way.
Yeah, it started off with this early 2v2 kill, and Carzzy getting the better of the Instable WildCats bot lane at that point, and then the 2v2s never really stopped. They kept coming, 2v2s, 2v3s, non-stop. There was a dive from Elyoya as well, which actually didn't go in their favor, but this team fight, this fight here from Carzzy, I thought he played this phenomenally. Watch how he just plays this. You can see Farfetch is coming in with the Leona, and I think this is where Carzzy does a huge outplay in a 2v4. He cleanses away from the stun, flashes the Leona ult, and when he gets re-engaged on, he dashes back to Serin with the killer instinct, and actually gets away with that.
Yes, he does. Dagda, how did it go then the other way around? And were you as impressed by the lane prowess and in the same vein by the way the WildCats were able to come back in this game?
Yeah, I thought the lane prowess, as you say, from Carzzy was absolutely insane. Like, that looked so damn clean. But I felt like once we started to get to those team fights and WildCats were able to get themselves kind of situated, I wanted to see them play more through those side lanes. When you've got Humanoid, you've taken the cleanse, you've got this semi-global and the Nocturne and the Ryze, I expect them to try and play this 1-3-1 style and continue to play through the numbers advantages that Caedrel kind of touched on. But it felt like there were a couple of times where they got control of the map, but they never really spread out enough to try and push in those side lanes effectively and try and use the number of advantages that they had. And that's why when we got towards these Barons and stuff, it meant that Mad Lions were able to just hard force these objectives, force the team fights, where they knew they could just play this front to back style and make it very, very difficult for WildCats to play their turn.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and it also comes to show in the drive to victory presented by Mercedes-Benz, that Baron fight by Mad, where I think they did a really good job in general when it came to the objectives, and especially Baron, to start it, to peel off, to start it again, to zone off the carries or to engage on the carries.
Yeah, and the game was pretty even at this point. This surprised me. I think this was around 22, 23 minutes in the game when they forced this up, and they actually force a 5v5. They do end up winning it, and they do end up getting the Baron. And I think that the Mad Lions, I think the key thing here is Mad Lions have a comp that wants to group up and force, and that's what they do. And Dagda's completely right. Istanbul WildCats have a 1-3-1 comp. Ryze Nocturne, push inside, Tristana can siege quickly, and you saw the way that the game progressed. Mad Lions kept grouping up, kept trying to force Dragon fights or Baron fights or 5-man sieges, and Istanbul WildCats actually did really well to pull them around the map and trade towers, even when they were on the back foot.
Super close game. A fun fact to send us out. Wukong in the LEC in 2021 spring was played 8 times, 5 wins, 3 losses. All 5 wins came from Armut. And, you know, you see it, his prowess on the late game team fights with that champion. But this game was too close for comfort, I think, for the Mad Lions. Coming up next, it is time for our final game of the day as Pain face off versus PSG Talent.